It's time for another episode of Stevie Rocks. Hey kids, rock and roll, rock on. Yeah. Okay, it's day 6 of my 100 album review. Actually, it's the second 100 albums. I already explained this to you if you've been paying attention. Okay. Once again, just to reiterate what I'm doing, these are the top albums that 100 albums, the second 100. The first 100 were favorites. The second 100 are also favorites, but these specific 100 are ones that I can listen to today, even though I've heard them 1,000 times. I'm not sick of them, and that's pretty tough challenge. So I'm including greatest hits in here, some live albums, and of course some obvious picks. Today is an obvious pick, although it's hard to pick one. Today's selection is the Beatles' Abbey Road. I was a Beatle fan, of course, a heavy duty Beatle fan for a few years back in the day in high school. In fact, I remember my mother specifically saying, and I quote, Stephen, there's more to life than the Beatles. Of course, she was wrong. But anyway, I could have picked Rubber Soul, which I picked on my last list because that really, to me, is their finest record. And, we can argue this all day. Revolver, Sgt. Pepper, the White Album, Meet the Beatles, all of those. But the one album that I could still listen to today and get that chill, that feeling, even though I've heard it a million times and I know every note and I sing along and I'm still into it, and that is Abbey Road. I've pretty much worn out the Beatles, but Abbey Road is an album I could still listen to. I don't know. It's just such a perfect album. I like every song, even Maxwell's Silver Hammer. I love it. I don't know. It's just I sing along, I get into it. I'm okay with it. I know John Lennon called it one of Paul's granny songs, which is really quite funny because that's kind of what it is. But side two of Abbey Road is like the greatest side two of any album in the history of music. I mean, anybody could argue that. It's a perfect medley of wonderful songs. I love that they have that repeating ding, 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 ding. There's a lot of that in there. It's just a perfect album. Starts off with Come Together, which is a rocker, a good, solid John Lennon rock song. It's just something which is probably George Harrison's greatest accomplishment. It was his only number one song for the Beatles. Beautiful song, beautiful. And then we got Maxwell's Silver Hammer. I still love it. I still love it. I don't care. Octopus's Garden, I think, is one of Ringo's greatest songs. I even love I Want You, She's So Heavy. It doesn't bother me that it goes on too long. Some people are like, it's too long. No, I love it. I think the guitar solo in there, that cool tone of George's guitar in the middle. Doo, 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 doo. And I think they trade off the guitar licks. This is a truly, I think, their most musical album, really. Even more so than Sgt. Pepper, which is kind of Sgt. Pepper is groundbreaking. Of course, it's important. It's probably one of the most important albums ever recorded. But I think there's a lot of unnecessary noise in there. It's a lot of chatter, right? And there's a couple of songs on Sgt. Pepper I just don't like. Did we really need Good Morning? There's a lot of, I mean, there's some amazing songs on there. I'm not going to beat it down too much, but it's an album I don't need to listen to anymore. I'm tired of it. I'm not tired of Abbey Road. Here Comes the Sun, side two. I mean, come on. Two of the greatest George Harrison songs on this album, Something and Here Comes the Sun. How do you beat it? And then it starts with the medley, right? Because You Never Give Me Your Money, Mean Mr. Mustard, Polythene Pam, She Came In Through the Bathroom Window, Golden Slumbers, Carry That Weight, the end. And then the guitar, the drums, the drum solo, and it ends with Her Majesty. This is a perfect album. I can listen to it a lot, and I do. I still listen to it. I still love it. I'm not tired of it. It's brilliant. It's just a brilliant record. It was their final recording, even though Let It Be album was kind of mixed in between there. I think Let It Be was kind of a they should have stopped at Abbey Road, and maybe Let It Be shouldn't have been released at all because there's not a lot. I think that should have been like a singles. There's a couple of good songs on Let It Be, but as far as a complete perfect album, Abbey Road to me is probably the Beatles at their best, right? People will argue the White Album. Yeah, again, love a lot of it. I think the Lennon songs on the White Album are brilliant. Sexy Sadie, Happiness is a Warm Gun, I'm So Tired. Could have done without Everybody Wants Something to Hide, but except for Me and My Monkey, I didn't need that. The Harrison songs on there, While My Guitar Gently Weeps is basically an Eric Clapton song because he plays guitar on it. Piggies, could have done without it. Long, 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 Savoy Truffle. Okay, not particularly overly blown away by those songs. The McCartney songs are nice. Blackbird, Mother Nature's Son, Rocky Raccoon is cute. But there's a lot of little crappy songs on the White Album. Could have done without Wild Honey Pie. Eh, yeah, it's like outtakes. George Martin said the White Album was a good single album. Maybe he's right. Maybe three sides if you can get away with that. But there's definitely like a handful of songs on the White Album that I could have done without. Abbey Road, Day 6, Album 6, Abbey Road. Perfect. Perfect album. A lot of bands wish they could have made that album. Paul McCartney wishes he could make that album again. He kept trying to recreate side 2 of Abbey Road. It's never going to be done. Don't try. You can't mess with perfection. I'm Stevie GB. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to share, comment. Rock on!